Right. Oh, thanks. Hello. I'm just getting organised after quite a lot of technical challenges here. If anyone's actually still there, thank you so much for waiting for me. It's been a nightmare, actually. I'm just going to do a couple of things before I meditation because I'm a bit flustered and I just want to go on to I'm on a different computer here, so it's a bit weird for me and it keeps jumping about. But I'm just going to go on to my normal one to go in the live chat and see who's there, because I can't actually see it on that one. Deep breath. That's the trouble with these things. Your mind just gets taken up with all this technical stuff, and it's not it's not the energy that you're intending to be in. So it's really challenging. It's quite an interesting lesson. Oh, someone's Canty, hi. That's really nice that that you've seen me. I'm just going to try and create a window on my laptop to so that I can follow the live chat for the live stream. Oh my God, that was a nightmare. It's just so weird when you're out of your depth with something. It's a really interesting lesson, though, because I was all ready at about 11:45 and I had everything organised, and then first of all, there was no internet at all for my husband to get back from walking the dog, and then I was saying, "How can you reboot the internet for me?" So we got that done eventually by about 12:20, and then I couldn't get onto the channel. Last time at the Wisdom Centre. Right, there's two people there. I'm really sorry. There were 4 people waiting at one point and I felt awful. I didn't even know if you could see my messages there. But it'll be recorded, so they'll probably come back later, hopefully. Oh, gosh. Right. I'll just put a message up. Okay. Okay, I wanted to show you my little altar, which I'm sorry I didn't take a photo of the one we had on Saturday, which was really lovely. And I don't know how I managed to not take a photo. But you know what it's like if you're running a group, it's sort of, you can't think of everything, especially it is harder at home because you're dealing with everything because you're running it, whereas at the actual centre last time they were doing all the teas and coffees and everything. And this is quite a heavy laptop that I'm using now, but I'm going to try and show you the altar. It's in the hearth because Beltane means bright fire. I found out. Is that clear enough? It's a bit weird. Yeah. And there's 5 yellow flowers for the 5 people who came on Saturday, including me. There were 5 of us. There's 1 yellow flower behind the big candle. That's our light circle candle, which we lit for the first time on the equinox at the Wisdom Centre, and that was in the centre of our big mandala that we had on the purple cloth that you've probably seen on Facebook. That's better. Okay, that's better. There's some big flowers at the sides, well, taller flowers at the sides, yellow and red. And then in the centre, they were here on Saturday, but in the centre for today, I'm going the wrong way. I've just got, in the front, I've got some feng shui coins for symbolising prosperity. Those 3 that are tied with a red ribbon, they're prosperity coins, which I've had for a long time and I've kind of forgotten about. So I got them out this morning. on the right, I've got my Muneki stone. It's actually on the left in the altar. It's the other way around, looking at it like this. There's some coins from around the world in the front. I don't know if you can see them. That was Diane, who came on Saturday's idea. She brought some coins from around the world to helping with the energy of money and helping to remove the negativity that's been associated over the years, you know, over the sort of hundreds of years by people with money. And so we thought, well, Diane thought it was her idea to bring coins from around the world, and that it would help change the energy of money around the world, rather than just the coins that we each brought for our own prosperity, you know. So it was really nice, actually. So there's 3 there. One's Portuguese, one's French, and they were just the ones I could find this morning. I can't remember where the other one's from. I can see it, but I can't. It might be Australian, actually. I can't pick it up because I'm holding this heavy laptop. And then in front of it, I've got my shiny pound coin, which is in front of my little pyramid there. And I can't remember the name of that crystal, but that's a pyramid from the solstice, December 2015, where Sarah Williams and I did a pyramid of light sort of day. It was a solstice day, but the pyramids came, and each person had one of those little pyramids to use and to take home. And we used that in the journey. So I got that one down. I think it might be carnelian. And I've got some quartz and some titanium covered Brazilian quartz at the back, 2 big ones at the back. They're Lena's. Some of you might know Lena, and Lena, hello, if you listen to this, thank you for those. They're beautiful. They came in the post from Lena, who's in America. They've got lovely energy, so I put those at the back because they're quite big. And then I've got my Palladian blue stone and my Divinity gold stone, which I don't know if you can see, but they've been I was guided to use those with groups, and so I've been giving those out in the groups, and I've got my own one. And some quartz there in the front. That was a present from Andrea Selena, which was a lovely present. That was in 2014 when I met her in Glastonbury. Oh, the computer's making funny noises. Sorry about that. And I've got the little candle at the back, smaller now, is Margaret Wilson's candle, and she symbolises the Mary Magdalene, Margaret. So it's everything, all these things fit together so well, because this is the feminine celebration of Beltane, and we had 5 people on Saturday, which I've only recently found out 5 is the pent, the 5, the same as the rose. And this is from meeting Sandra Humby, who works with the roses, and she came to our equinox and brought her beautiful rose cards and the rose energy with her. And last weekend I was lucky enough to go to her house and be in a group there, a space clearing group, and we were understanding about the feminine. She was telling us about the feminine being the 5 petals of the rose, because that's the kind of spiral that it grows in, is the 5, and that's the feminine energy. And then she was saying 6 is the masculine, and I found that interesting because last time at the equinox physical group we had 24 of us, so 2 and 4 makes 6, and that's the masculine. And this time there were 5 of us, and which is the feminine. And last night I was listening to Judy Satori, who's amazing, and she was talking about Mary Magdalene. In fact, she was bringing through energy of Mary Magdalene. That's a live transmission she did about a week ago, and it's on her website. Actually, it's really worth listening to, with light language from Mary Magdalene, which really fitted with, because it's the feminine and the creativity and the divine feminine. It really fitted for me with this energy of Beltane, which is fertility, creativity, blessing our crops, which links with abundance, because crops, they symbolize our abundance, don't they? Because if we haven't got crops, then we haven't got anything. So the sort of trusting that that will be provided for, that will be fed, that will be clothed, that will be given everything that we need. And that trust is really important, which is very interesting that I then had all these internet problems this morning, and I was really hearing that. Just trust, it'll work out, people won't mind, because your logical self says, oh, people are waiting, and that's awful that I'm going to be letting them down, but we're really being asked to step up and trust, and just know that everything's always all right, and we'll always be provided for. And that's because we are the God consciousness. That is what we are. So this work that I feel that we're doing now, there's so much to it, there's so much I could say, but the work with the spirals of time coming up for me, over the last, since the equinox, really, they've been sort of showing me about the spirals of time. It's a recognition. What we're doing is we're recognizing that everything is created through the spiral. And I think we used to think of it as cycles of time, like the seasons. We think of it as a cycle, and these ancient festivals that we're marking now, we thought of them as cycles. Well, I did, but I don't know about others. But now I'm realizing that they're actually more than cycles. You don't go round again to the same place every time. You go round again, but you're on a different layer of the spiral, and each time you go around again, you're on another layer of the spiral. So you're never going to the exact same place again. And that's the same with our personal development and our ascension process, where we visit an emotion, a pattern, a situation again, as if it feels like it's again, but actually it's because we're coming at it again, but with the experience and the growth and the dissolving that we've already had happen around that. So we're coming at it anew, as a new being, as a new person in our physical self, a human being coming to the situation or pattern or emotion. And we can, by recognizing that, we can choose to allow more of a letting go again. So I'm just sorting out my space here a bit, everything's falling down. We can choose to realize that we're in a new place, and we've done the work. We've done some work before. It's not like, oh gosh, I did all that work and now I still can't do this thing. It's actually more about, look, I've done this, I know this, and now I'm being shown it again, but I'm on another layer of the spiral this time. So I choose to allow more of it to melt away, and I allow myself to be lighter, and I honor myself for coming round again and seeing it anew and letting myself move on from this emotion or pattern, and allowing some more of it to melt away or burn away. And I like the symbology of the Beltane fire, because Beltane means bright fire, and we had fire coming up in various forms on Saturday, different things about fire that sort of came up coincidentally, you know, obviously not coincidentally, synchronistically. And that fits with the burning away of the emotions and the patterns. And what I've learned over the last few months, and really, some of what I've learned, there's so much, isn't there? But what I've seen is that we're really being called to do our personal work. So this is a cooperative ascension, and we work together and we assist each other, and we run ideas past each other and understand more as we do that in that process. But the personal work, the personal development work, whatever you want to call it, is really key. Is really key. And anyone choosing to sort of ignore that part of the equation, it's not gonna work out easily for them. So it is really, really important that we're going about our personal lives and watching ourselves, encountering our patterns, and watching ourselves with compassion and love, not with judgment, but watching ourselves, you know, reacting or not reacting, and allowing, and you know, and watching ourselves and seeing how far we've come each time, and whether we can trust a bit more in a situation. Now, talking of fires and trusting, I was in a rather frightening situation a couple of weekends ago. It was Easter Sunday night, going into Monday morning. It was 2:00 in the morning, and a fire started in the bedroom where I was sleeping. It isn't in our house here where we live here, but we were staying away, and the fire was my sort of fault, if you want to blame someone, because it was me that hadn't switched an electric thing off. But you know, and that's interesting as well, because I, you know, was allowed to choose whether to feel guilty that it was me who'd done that, or whether to, you know, not choose to feel guilty. But the interesting emotions which I was privileged to watch were very wide-ranging, and fear was quite a big one, as you can imagine. Allowing the loss, because at one point it appeared to us that the place where we were staying would be lost. We were, you know, watching from a distance in the night, and the firefighters were in the property, and to us it looked like it was all going to be lost. lost. And afterwards, talking to the firefighters, they saw the same as us. So it wasn't just that we were imagining the worst. They saw what we saw and thought it was fire where we thought it was fire. And actually we were really lucky. What we thought was fire was actually an orange lampshade in a skylight. It hadn't moved, the fire hadn't moved into that area of the house, which we feared. And we thought that was what was happening. So while we thought that was what was happening, those emotions were strong, and I was allowed to go into that place of allowing that to happen, because I couldn't do anything else. Actually, having allowed that to happen, we were rather surprised to be told that the damage was minimal when the chief firefighter came out to see us, and he said it was minimal, and we sort of thought we'd misheard, but actually we were really lucky, and it was confined to a very small space, and they were so brilliant. Obviously they're brilliantly trained, you know, at putting this thing out, and the damage is minimal. So all of that was a very interesting lesson, that you can surrender. I think came trust and surrender. Okay, that's what's happening, you know. I didn't mean to go so far into that. I'm just going to shut the door properly before we do the meditation, so that no one comes in, because I'm not in the room that I usually use now. Okay. So I've talked about the money, which was an idea of Emma Johnson's. She's a lovely light worker who I've met a few times, and has been working with money to release the negativity and to allow in abundance. And it was her idea that we included money in our circle, in our mandala today and on Saturday, which we did. And how that can change our relationship with it by including it and by loving it. So it's lovely of her. Thank you, Emma, for giving me that idea. And yeah, and I wanted to say that when we're facing our worst fears, which is, you know, what I was just talking about, facing the worst fears, it's very intense. And that is what's happening now in this energy that is coming through, is burning off all of our worst sort of fears. But we've got to face that, we've got to see them or be in them before it goes. So may look like they're worse. It may feel like things are worse when actually they're being allowed to burn off. And this is how we transform, and this is ascension. This is what we've come on earth to do, to face fear and to allow, to work through fear, to allow ourselves to remember our God self. Because with fear, we're separate. But when we allow and trust, then we move back up and closer. So raising our vibration, it's the same thing as allowing our fear to go. So by relaxation and allowing higher vibrations in, that helps to release the anxiety and the fear and the stress, all of those things that are to do with feeling separate from God consciousness. So what we're doing now is moving closer into the God consciousness. And these spirals that create, that are creation, that form creation, they by observing these festivals that ancients have sort of always known, it feels to me like now on Earth, as light workers, by observing these cycles or spirals, we're saying, okay, we get it, we get that we're working with life force, creation force, God force. And although it doesn't feel easy, it's actually very simple. By acknowledging that we're working with that, we are it. And by moving out of fear and out of judgment and into the one, it's all part of the same thing, because we're moving up on these spirals and these layers of the spiral. And the sort of, it feels like we can jump up onto another timeline of the spiral by being present in each moment that we encounter the potential to drop down again, if that makes sense. Okay, today I'd like to take you on a journey. And it's a journey into a sacred space. Feels to me like the seed point of creation, or the calm central point, you know, like the calm point in the storm, or the void point where the seed grows from. And I'd like to do that. So if you'd like to make yourself comfortable, and you would probably be best lying down if you haven't already. You don't have to watch me, you don't have to see me, because you'll hear me. If you close your eyes, unless you have a reason to watch and to, you know, if you know that you'll get something, I mean, that's fine, it's up to you, because I don't know everything. Sometimes I, you know, sort of just bumble along and sort of do what I think, and I think that's the same with everyone, really. So if you sort of get that you're supposed to watch because I get the light through my eyes or something like that, then do that. But if it was me, I would probably lie down and relax. Okay. So just let yourself relax and let your body melt away. Take a few slower, deeper, easy breaths. In and out. In and out. In and out. And I would like you to imagine a beautiful pyramid composed entirely of crystalline light. A beautiful thing to see. It sparkles, it shimmers, and I want you to mentally place this white pyramid of light around you, so that it completely encloses your body, even the underneath side of your body. so that you are completely enclosed within your beautiful pyramid of white light. This is your protection. The white light is a very powerful force. It will remain around your body the whole time we do this. You are protected. You are safe. You know it. You feel it. And it is very, very good. This high vibrating pyramid is also a magical doorway to higher states of your consciousness. And now a brilliantly illuminated column lights up your spine, flowing through all your chakras and linking you up through your stellar gateway to the various star systems and beyond to Source, and down through your Earth star chakra to the core of Mother Earth, deep within Gaia's heart. The portal is thus created. The gateway is now open. So visualize yourself standing there within this portal now. And today you're going to go on a special journey. And you find yourself on a sunny day with a clear sky, walking effortlessly along a path in the open countryside near a wood. You're walking along, gliding almost very easily, and you notice that you're walking along the edge of a wood. As the sun shines down and your cares and your feelings just lift you up, your cares drift away, and the lightness of the day and the light just helps you along this path so that you're almost floating and you're drawn to the wood. Gradually the path turns to the left and you find yourself entering the wood. Still on the path, the shrubs and trees getting thicker and thicker now. And you may wish to look down now at your path and notice what your path is made of. This wood feels inviting and safe, and you begin to notice some primroses and bluebells dotted about here and there. There's wildlife in the wood. You hear sounds of animals scuttling about in the undergrowth. You see a squirrel, and you can hear the sounds of beautiful bird song. This wood feels very safe, even though you know that you're the only person here. As you follow the path, you realize that it's spiraling inwards, deeper and deeper into the beautiful wood. Now some bright yellow butterflies flutter just in front of you, seeming to entice you onwards into the wood. Although the foliage is quite thick now, the hum of life in the woods and the sunlight filtering down through the leaves makes you feel very safe and comfortable. You are circling the inner wood now and may notice the stillness and the sacred feel of this place. You sense that there are fairy spirits around, and maybe you see a colour or some movement out of the corner of your eye. The elementals are all around in their various forms, whether you can see them or not. And at last you come to the place of rest, your destination. You find yourself in a beautiful clearing with lush green grass, dotted with daisies and dandelions. Above you can see the sky, beautiful blue sky, and sunlight pours in. A natural mossy seat beckons you, and you sink down gratefully. Gaia welcomes you home here, and you lie back and drift. You feel the heavenly frequencies of creation. So notice the sunlight on your face. And Gaia holding you deep in her heart, as your heart links you with her, and you through our sun to the central sun in our galaxy, and to the heart in the center of the 22 galaxies in our local cluster. This flow of God consciousness or creator consciousness is now enabled from that distant place, deep within the cluster of galaxies, our galaxies. This is where we're from. And the God consciousness or creator divine energy comes now through those suns, through your heart, and now down deep into Gaia, into her heart. They're telling me this is a baptism. I didn't know that. This is a baptism of Beltane, they're saying. Baptism of fire? I don't know. We were told on Saturday this is a birth thing, so that makes sense because the birth comes before the baptism. So the birthing was on Saturday and the baptism is today. So this light coming deep within these 22 galaxies is new. This is newly enabled now for us on Gaia. This is what Judy was talking about through Mary Magdalene that I was listening to yesterday. This is being allowed through now, or we are allowing it through now, however, which way you'd like to look at it. We are to remember our divinity. This is very important now. We are masters. This is the 22, the master. This is us. The 22 galaxies are showing us our mastery. To believe our mastery. To know our power of creation. To remember our power of creation. By undoing the spirals of time which we have woven from the moment when we chose to leave the God source, to experience ourselves as separate, different. All those experiences we've chosen to have over all those eons and eons and eons of time, we've done those, we've had those through the spirals of creation. And now by choosing to remember and realize, see what we've been doing, we can go back and start undoing, unraveling our creation. We can unravel the parts which have been where we've gone into low density. We can unravel this by going back the other way. We can unravel this upwards. We've come out of a beautiful, beautiful oneness state where we are all one. And lovely Denise, who was here on Saturday, had the vision in our meditation of a big blob of silver, huge ocean of silver, and a little blob of silver next to it. And she saw it being engulfed again, taken again back into the huge ocean of silver, which is so interesting because silver symbolizes, or has come to symbolize, money, worth. And the word is the same in some languages. The Latin languages, the word argent is silver, is money. So this coming back to the big creation soup or silver, this precious place, this is what we're doing now. So I'm just allowing that energy through me now to transmit for everyone. You are remembered in this place. You remember this place. This feels extremely safe, and you're held here in the warm embrace of Gaia's love. As the sun pours down through you, and you are a bridge between heaven and earth. You remember that you are this bridge, you are this vessel of light. You are a vortex of creation. In this special place, you are now able to receive guidance, creating your perfect reality on earth for the highest good of all. So listen for any messages to come to you, any guidance. Gaia is very grateful to you for coming here today. You may come back to this place whenever you wish. You don't need to listen to the recording to come back to this place. You can walk this spiral path into the woods in your mind. You can just visualize that and come back to this mossy seat. Gaia will be waiting here for you. And you may receive infinite intelligence, the guidance from the oneness. You may choose to merge yourself as the little silver blob into the big blob. You may choose to merge yourself, to seek or receive truth, your knowledge, and to remember the trust that is held here, the feeling of trust that we have in this place of oneness, in this 1 year of 2017, which keeps reminding us that it's a very important year for humanity, for our growth, for our transcendence. You are all doing really, really well to still be in bodies on planet Earth at this time. You are very loved. And we see it is not easy for you on the Earth at this time. We are very grateful that you are staying here to funnel these energies through from the center of the galaxies of yourselves, as without, so within. So although it all comes from the center of the galaxies, it actually comes from the center of ourselves. And we have within each cell of our body all of those galaxies, all of that oneness, all of that big blob of silver that's within us. We are being honored now by the beings of light who've transcended this reality, honoring us for our work here. Saying that they're always here for us. They're always in the oneness, but they will step out as individuals, or they seem to step out as individuals if we wish to relate to an aspect of the oneness. But always remember, they're saying always remember that we are the oneness. We're not, there's no difference in level between us. You are the oneness with us. We are all the oneness. You have come to experience the thing which you are experiencing now on Earth, and we are watching, and we know what's happening with you, but you are us. You are the same. You are oneness. You are no less than any of us. And none of us is better than each other. So whichever of our aspects you choose to work with or have information from, we are all of the oneness. In this unity year, this is a very important understanding for humanity. You may hear a parting message just for you now. And now it's time to bring yourself back with love and with joy. And know that your peaceful place in the middle of the woods is always there for you. Thank you everyone for being here today. And apologies again for the very late start. It was obviously meant to be at a later time for one or other reason. And the last thing that I wanted to share today is that I've coincidentally, accidentally, however you think of it, booked a summer solstice light circle on Thursday the 22nd of June, locally at the Wisdom Centre where we were for the equinox. Now, I didn't deliberately book that date. I mean, I do resonate with 22. I have been, this has been happening over the last few years, since the end of 2013, actually, the 22. So I do like that number. So it was pretty obvious to me to choose that day. And to not have the Wednesday the 21st, which is the actual summer solstice, because I know people want to go out onto the land on that day, and people want to go to Stonehenge and various places around the planet, wherever you are around the world. But really interesting that it was the 22nd, because hearing Judy Satori talk about the 22 galaxies last night, and I heard her mention them in January, and this has been work that's coming through her. So it's really worth listening if you resonate with the 22 and the master number of mastery and manifestation, how we're walking into our own mastery. But last night she was talking about how the energy that we've just been in, the oneness coming through us into Earth, that vortex of creation, coming from that center of the 22 local galaxies, that is going to really ramp up in June. So it's getting going this weekend. It was, because she recorded that, so end of this month of April. But then at June time, we'll be getting much stronger, and with the Christ consciousness coming through with it more in June. And this, obviously, that everything's linked. Obviously, this is the divine feminine, and divine feminine is half of the Christ consciousness, with the divine masculine. So the summer solstice is the masculine. That's how it feels to me now. I've understood it. I didn't realize this before, because only this weekend realizing that it went male for the equinox and then female for this festival now of Beltane, which makes sense, really. That, and then the next one, the solstice, is a masculine, so divine masculine, and bringing that back in, weaving that sort of in with the divine feminine again, or strengthening it in again, because obviously it's always there. But makes sense for me now, because why is it that we've recognized the equinoxes and the solstices, haven't we, in a much bigger way than these in-between festivals, which we haven't honored as much, which makes sense if they're the feminine ones, doesn't it? Because they're, so the Beltane now, and then know the names. I mean, I know they're known by different names in different sort of cultures, but I might need to sort of work that out. But there's after the summer solstice, there'll be a feminine festival, a feminine energy festival, end of July, beginning of August, first week of August, I think. And I think it's, if I'm right, it's called Lammas in some traditions, in the pagan tradition. And then we have the autumn equinox, which everybody recognizes, and then there'll be another one, another feminine one, which will be Samhain, whatever you want to call that, before the December solstice, which has always been marked as Christmas, Christ Mass, the masculine. So this all really begins to make a lot of sense now that we're remembering the in-between ones. And so it's no accident that a big group came to my equinox circle, and it was a masculine number. and a very small group came in a setting in my house. So that had to come into my house, which is a house is a symbol of the heart. It had to come into my heart, this small group, to meet for Beltane, the feminine festival. So everything fits. And this is just beautiful that everything's mirrored and everything fits, and the synchronicity of it. And these in between lesser festivals will become more recognized, and maybe will one day they'll be equally recognized as the masculine. And I see it with the merging of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. I see them all being recognized equally, and men and women recognizing each one with as much energy and excitement and honor. And haven't said, but we were all women on Saturday. It goes without saying, really. Whereas we did have 2 men in our group of 24. So we had 22 women. There's the 22 again, 22 and 2 men. So there's a lot there. There's more, isn't there? There's more in there to unravel, actually. It's just on and endless, on and on. Because I'm sure you're probably ready to stop. It's gone on quite long now. I'd like to thank you enormously for your patience, for your participation, for your energy, for your love, and those of you who've been so kind to make a financial contribution. I'm deeply honoured, and obviously that's not the reason why I do this work, but it's a way of being able to do more of it. So it's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I love you.